Well, hello, Coach Laura here, Laura Erickson, and I wanted to do my podcast video. This is my first podcast video. I know that I now have this option, so I'm going to give it a try, and hopefully this works, and you guys are hearing me. You're hearing me right now, it worked. So this podcast, I wanted to talk about the value of volunteering and serving. I think just the idea of service. So this last weekend, I was involved in the Salt Lake City Marathon. I worked with a lot of volunteers and helped with the awards and medals, and it was crazy cold weather. We actually saw rain, sleet, a little bit of hail, a little bit of snow in there, and also some sunshine. It was just crazy weather, but marathons can be all day events, and it pretty much was. So I was there for a long time, but I have been involved in volunteering, I think, for races for a very long time. I do a lot of the local races at our local recreation center. I just love to be involved, and I guess I just wanted to encourage others. Racing is always something I've done, and I always feel like it's important to give back. And so for me, racing is an easy way to get involved in service. So I think one of the reasons that draws me to doing this as service is the connection. I think with COVID, we've all kind of missed that connection, and so we're anxious to get back out. That's what's different about doing a virtual race, but getting out and actually seeing people and making connections. And I always meet a lot of really cool people. Usually people that like to volunteer at races they're just giving kind of people, and so I love to be around those kind of people. I think another thing I really like is kind of this element of teamwork, that we're all in there for the same purpose. We're all trying to make this a great event and make people have a good experience. And I know for me, just because I'm a runner and I remember my first marathon, and I know these races can't happen without volunteers. So I guess that's why I like to get involved too, is because I understand the perspective of the runner and what they need, and maybe how it should be organized and how it should run. And there's a lot of value in knowing those things, so I can help and I can contribute in a really good way. But I also understand how it feels when the volunteers are so cheerful and you're done with the marathon and you're so tired and people are like, good job, and they're cheering you on and giving you a medal. And it's just, that is especially that first marathon, that is like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And so I love to be part of that for people. That I love to be on the aspect of actually coaching them for it too, but it's really fun to be on the aspect of, or in that capacity of congratulating them at the finish line too. And so I was kind of all over the place. So I was always at the finish. I was also trying to help with awards and make sure that we had all the results done properly and things. So I was all over the place, but it was fun. For those that I did get to see finish, I saw just the hugs and the cheers and the embraces when they had actually finished the race. So it's just exciting to be there. So if you haven't ever considered volunteering for a race, I highly suggest doing it. If you're a runner and you've been doing this for a long time, I think it's something you should do at least once or twice a year. You should be involved in a race. And a lot of races have a volunteer sign up. I know with the Salt Lake City Marathon, you can go on and decide where you want to volunteer, what shift, what hours you're willing to work. So it's not like you have to do it all day. But maybe you want to work in the food area, or you want to work in, maybe you're a massage therapist, or you have other skills that you could contribute. But it's just fun to be involved. Again, it's like that connection. I meet a lot of really cool people. It's kind of a reunion for me. If you're a runner like me, it's like a reunion. It's like, oh, you haven't seen in a while. Last time you saw them was at a race. So a lot of these people, because running is sort of a small circle, and so we all get to know each other. And triathlon is kind of the same thing. So do it for the connections and being able to see your friends and supporting them in a different way. Yeah, it's fun to be on course. It's fun to race, but it's also, I think, important to be on the other side and the flip side of that, and actually contributing and helping and help put them on. People that have raced a lot like me, you have a voice and you can tell them things that make it a better event. So it's really kind of a good thing. And so you can also fix problems. I know there were things that I was able to catch and go, oh no, that's not good. And I was able to fix it. So being at a race and having that experience that you can draw on to help is really, really good. So, other things that I think there's just a good feeling knowing that you're helping someone else, helping even an organization, contributing in some way. You also kind of develop skills. So if you maybe want to develop skills in an area, then volunteer to help with something that you want to learn how to do better. You could do marketing or do whatever area you feel like you want to learn more about. That's a good way, volunteering is a good way to learn that skill. So, there's racing, and I know I'm talking about that type of volunteerism, but there's so many avenues for volunteerism. I know there's a popular app in my area called Just Serve, and you can go on there, and I think it's throughout national. I think you can go on and find there's different kinds of service. Like, there's so many organizations that need help, especially with domestic violence, or maybe your groove is like emergency response, or maybe you want to help the elderly. I know in my area, the food pantry needs help delivering meals to elderly people, or they're just collecting bags to distribute food, or maybe they need food donations, or maybe you're somebody that could donate blood. For me, I do not like needles, so I serve in other ways. You do not have to do that, but if you can, I mean, blood is really needed, plasma is needed, those kind of things. That's a great way to serve. Other things, well, gosh, there's just so many places, so many different things that you can do, but there are probably other apps. And absolutely, if you know of any other apps that have service opportunities that you know about, please, let us know below. I think there's a comment section. If not, message me. You can find my contact information on blonderunner.com, like the hair color, BLONDERUNNER. Anyway, just let me know. I also would love to know if you could help with I have a race that I put on Memorial Day, and I would love help with that as well. So, racing is always an opportunity to help. But if there are other organizations, I know we have a Safe Harbor organization that helps with battered women. We also have, the people that are homeless. We have a lot of homeless in Salt Lake City. I'm just north of Salt Lake City, but there's a lot of homeless needs. We also have a lot of donations. They try to make like hygiene kits. They've made I know they're collecting coats and blankets even all year. This is spring, but it could be all year that these things are needed. Anyway, I think there's just so much value in donating a little bit of your time, and it all comes back to you. Yeah, I mean, when you're not paid for volunteerism, but you're paid in the sense of feeling good about yourself. I mean, it kind of builds your confidence to know you're involved in something. I don't know, I just feel good. I feel good to see people happy and just to be part of that, and knowing that I'm contributing in some way. So I wish that I could. There's tons of places that you can go to find, but I don't know what you need and what you like. And I know you can go to the library and donate time. There's always places that you can donate your time. So I highly encourage you, and I challenge you to do that. I know I did a live interview today, and one of the challenges that we had were to pick up trash in your area. It's called Tuesdays for Trash or something like that, where we pick up trash in the area. So I encourage you to do that too. There are lots of little ways to contribute. I know we also have a place called Deseret Industries in our area that has a lot of needs that they have for sorting, and I know that the food pantry in our area does that as well. And I know in areas that I grew up, there was something called Salvation Army. So making donations or going through things, there's just so many ways that you can contribute or help. Or maybe it doesn't have to be a big thing. It could be in your own little area. What about a neighbor in need? How can you cheer someone up, giving them a text, or just being mindful of other people? I just think that's so valuable. I know in our church, their children or boys are encouraged to, and women, boys and girls are encouraged to serve missions. So I have a son serving a mission in another country, and I've had my other son serve a mission in another country. It's a 2-year commitment. But they have, just as a mother, seeing the difference in growth. I mean, that's a service mission for years of your life, with a spiritual component. I think that their growth was just huge. And so maybe we can't like drop everything and go for a service mission for 2 years, but there are people that serve overseas for different things for medical. And I encourage you to just look and see what opportunities there are to get involved. But as a mother, I've seen the growth in them as a person. So if we can find a moment in our day to see what we can do to serve someone else, just for a little bit, it doesn't have to be all day long, but how can we contribute? How can we, when you feel like your life is valued and you're contributing value to someone else's life, I think it makes you feel better. And so really this podcast is about healthy living. And healthy living is, we often think about our physical health, but there's an emotional component and a spiritual component to health that we need to also consider, and an intellectual component. And service, you can develop all those areas. And so I highly, highly encourage you to get involved. Anyway, so that's all I had for you today. It's a little shorter podcast on this one, but it is my first video. If you see or hear of other topics you want me to cover, please let me know, because I'm happy to cover many different topics and there's tons of stuff to talk about. But again, encouraging you to get involved and serve someone every day. Kind of pay it forward. Look for little things you can do for other people. And until next time, live well. Bye-bye.